I was really excited to be asked to come and talk about AI today, and especially when I saw that the brief was on demystifying it, because I think AI is intrinsically mysterious, and there's this kind of collective effort at the moment, not only amongst the general population, but also with regulators and also amongst AI experts themselves to kind of like demystify it a little bit more. We've basically had these kind of crazily powerful models known as generative AI unleashed on us in the past year or so, and they're completely groundbreaking and they're very hard to wrap your head around. This ability to actually like create phenomena is new, and it's sort of challenging a lot of the assumptions that we had about the role of humans and machines in society. So creation was kind of thought of as an exclusively human feat, and this is now like proving to not be the case. I would say like the main risk that we're seeing that's really concerning is disinformation. First is actually like malicious disinformation, where AI is used to generate fake images or fake text, and this is then circulated. And then there's hallucinations, which is when the AI kind of makes organic mistakes and they're not detected. Safety in generative AI is making sure that data remains transparent. Blockchain can be like quite a good alternative as like a single point of truth. The success of these models that use smaller data sets and are fine-tuned is basically challenging all the pre-existing assumptions about the competitor landscape. For a long time, it was assumed that only companies with very, very deep pockets could produce high-quality generative AI. So there's this expression which is garbage in, garbage out. So it's what you feed the AI that will dictate its effectiveness. It's very hard to predict what it's actually going to produce. So you can't really know like what ChatGPT, for example, is going to say until it says it. Like it's highly unpredictable. I think 1,800 signatures from AI experts, including Elon Musk, who called for a pause in the development of models more advanced than ChatGPT 4 so that we can like get a handle on how they work. So a big complaint with ChatGPT 3.5 was that it was like left-leaning and it had like a bias tilt towards the left. And OpenAI kind of addressed it, and they tried to do like a little bit to detract from that bias. But I mean, this is a really deep philosophical question, is like, how do you decide what is bias and what is truth, particularly with topics like political topics? And one of the things that is like quite challenging at the moment is that we don't really have clear regulation around AI and around these issues. And there's kind of like a grapple at the moment to get there, but we're a long way off. You know, these models, they're borderless. So for legislation to be effective, it really has to be global.
Great, thanks very much, Kitty. That was very interesting. So I think balance between optimism and, some challenges to overcome, but I think with good regulation, it's a positive future, potentially. Feel free to walk through to next door, and then, like Kitty says, I think Q&A will follow a bit later on.
Kitty, you spoke a bit about AI being, it'll either be a threat or a huge opportunity within in businesses, depending on how us as humans use it. What do you think will be the most valuable skill for humans going forward?
We don't really know, because we don't know how these models are going to develop. But what we're seeing already is skill around prompting. So there's an art to what you feed an AI model. And it's really incredible watching people who are expert at this work. Like, they understand which words will provoke certain types of reactions. It's almost like learning a language. It's hyper communicative.
We're thinking of applying, getting this API thing and getting creating our own models, having ChatGPT applied to all our own proprietary data to come up with, a version of it where our staff effectively can use it to get much more context-specific information for their needs. Do you see something like that where everyone's going to have their own personal ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Based on their personal information?
These smaller models work just as good, if not better, in some cases than large ones. And I think that's what's providing the greatest reassurance in the industry that we're not going to have that tyranny of the majority, that instead it's going to be like a very diversified range of different models. In industries like yours that are so complex, analysing the data can be so difficult that if you can get an AI to do it and to quickly locate information and exactly where a file is or exactly a piece of thing you need, then it can be really transformative.
Just looking at it from maybe from an investment point of view or from a data and analytics point of view, yes, we can now use these AI systems, but I also think, well, maybe the hardware is also something that potentially might be quite a poignant point going into the future.
Yeah, I think, like, as you say, hardware is like one of the adjacent industries that's really going to benefit and become increasingly important.
It's more likely that fraud, I guess, going forwards would come from voice, which is the most trusted, rather than cyber, as it were.
It's much harder to fool a human with these technologies. Like, normally the voice will not have the complete cadence, or it'll say something like a bit off key. So the kind of attempts at fraud tend to not be successful, like an alarm bell goes off, but these technologies are going to improve and get better and better.
Thanks all, and thanks Kitty again.